Jonesy in studio with us here. We got a lot on the table, including who should bat leadoff for the Phils, some Eagle stuff, and Flyers, obviously. Mike in Douglasville right now. Good morning, Michael.
What's going on, guys? How you doing?
Doing well, Mike.
Hey, Jonesy, real quick. My father-in-law and my wife would be mad at me if I got the opportunity to speak to you and didn't say thank you for fielding a competent hockey team and something that we can actually, watch and be proud of for, however long it's been here. I've watched more hockey in the last 2 months than I've watched in the last 5 years. So
yeah, that's awesome.
Keep it up.
I've been hearing a lot of that. That's really cool. I appreciate that very much.
Absolutely. So I got Phillies and Eagles real quick. Phillies, Schwarber. I'm a big Schwarber leadoff guy, but I do see the argument for Turner and Stott. And where I started wondering, I know they're huge on the righty-lefty thing. It's kind of what Ken just said a little bit ago. I have confidence in Harper and Schwarber that they are going to have some form of productive at-bat that I wouldn't have a problem
more with Harper than
more
with Harper than Schwarber.
There's
a big difference.
That's why I would have Harper up at 3 instead of the Schwarber first. I like Harper in the 3 spot, but I think if we did Schwarber or Harper Schwarber, I really don't think it would be that major of an issue whether it's a left-handed pitcher or a right-handed pitcher. I don't know.
Well, Mike, a couple things. First off, it is notable to say that 2 times the Phillies have won a World Series. They've gone back-to-back in the middle of the lineup with either righty-righty or lefty-lefty, and they won the World Series. It was, Schmidt and Luzinski, obviously, in 80, and it was for many years, and, of course, that was for many years, and for many years it was Chase and Ryan Howard back-to-back lefty-lefty. So you can do it. You can win. There's no doubt about that. I don't, Mike, I want to play something for you. Ruben Amaro said something to us yesterday. We all thought it was a fascinating comment for why they may be inclined to bat Schwarber 1. It's actually the detriment element of Schwarber in the middle of the lineup, 3, 4, 5, wherever you'd put him. Listen to what Ruben said, then we'll get your reaction.
One of the reasons why Schwarber is hitting in the 1 hole is because I'm not sure if he makes enough contact in RBI situations when he's hitting in the 4, 5, or 6 hole.
That's fascinating.
That's my thought, is that he swings and misses so much and has strikes out so much that when he has RBI opportunities, I'm not sure that he's the guy I want there to be the RBI guy. And so that's sort of a concern for me.
Really good point.
Second and third.
That's why I think that he's probably better off in the 1 hole than he is in the 4 or 5.
It's a great point, Ruben.
That's
Ruben,
fascinating.
You threw me for a loop, Ruben, so you got me on that.
And, Mike, just to take that a step further, and our caller Mike here playing audio doing it. So, Mike, just to take that a step further, the theory, obviously, is if Bryce Harper is going to get on base the most of this team, and he will. I mean, he's the best player of the team, really, by far. If he's going to get on the most, do you want someone who struggles to make contact batting right after him?
Oh, that's true. That's true.
It's a big issue.
I mean, listen, like I said, I'm a Schwarber, leadoff guy, so I'm fine with it, but I listen to the arguments for Stott and Turner.
Yeah.
Real quick, I know I'm running out of time. Richie, I need you to clarify something for me. Yesterday, over the past couple of weeks, you've made comments, and you started them off with, I fear that, or I think that. Yesterday, you said it multiple times, and I don't know if you just misspoke or if you heard something different. You say the phrase, I fear that the players have lost respect for Nick, or I think that the players have lost respect for Nick. Yesterday, you said it multiple times, which was kind of eye-opening. They have lost respect for Nick Sirianni.
No, I don't. Then I misspoke. I do not know that. That is total speculation based on the way I would feel if I were hearing the things he was saying.
Gotcha.
People listen closely. Mike, give me an answer here.
You really do, yeah. That's a deep cut.
Who or what took a leap there, Mike?
So many of my answers have been taken, so I'm just going to stick with something simple. And this might actually be knowledgeable for you, Joe. Frogs leap.
Oh, yeah.
Zoology knowledge there.
That I do know. So, Jonesy, let me ask you this question. Keith Jones in studio with us. The big guy, Angelo Cataldi.
Yes.
How often do you guys talk?
We do talk, which is nice. I do miss him, believe it or not. I might be the only one, but
we all miss him.
No, he's the best. So the best thing I can say is there's 2 things. One, we brought him in at the start of the year last summer, really when I started this job, to talk to everybody within the Flyers organization, and it was Dan Hilferty's idea to bring him in because Angelo had some ideas on how to get the Flyers back on the map as far as getting some people to pay attention to a team that they weren't paying attention to. And Angelo blasted us all. Like he was typical Angelo. It was just a great kind of lesson into what makes this city tick and how you can bring some fans back and how you can become interesting. And we've taken a lot of the advice that he gave us, which, I knew a lot of it just from working with him, which I think has been a huge benefit for me in this job. And then Angelo decided he was going to come to a game. Going back, I want to say it was actually the afternoon game that we honored Ed Snyder.
Mm-hmm.
And Angelo came to that game. He had seats right on the glass. So I had a view of him from where we sit up in our box, and I could see how I was watching how he was reacting during the game. And we won the game. I think it was against Detroit, if I'm not mistaken. But I looked down, and there was a scuffle that took place right in front of him. And there he is standing up, as big and tall as he is, and he's pointing at the player on the other team. And I took a picture of it from up top and sent it to him. And I thought to myself, we're getting there. We're getting there. If we're getting the big guy up out of his seat and he's enjoying some Flyers hockey, that's a pretty good day for us. So I do continually talk to him. He's a big part of everything that I've done in my life, especially giving me the opportunity to have my first job after retiring from playing. That was the first contracted job I had was here.
Wow.
So I have great respect for Angelo, and also we have a great friendship. So, I'm still in touch with him.
I think I heard you say before, tell me if you can confirm this, that in your opinion, if not for Angelo and WIP, you wouldn't currently be the president of the Flyers.
Correct. Yeah, and there's another side to that, too. The other side is hockey was not being talked about. So a lot of the hard-hitting, controversial things that Angelo talked about, I was able to avoid from the hockey perspective. It's a tough part of the job. I mean, that's the Eagles in those days were getting hammered pretty good.
Yep.
That was easy for me because I wasn't tied to the Eagles.
All right, so here's
it's
one.
It's a tough part of the job. It is, and I was lucky to be able to avoid that.
Here's an Eagles-related one related to WIP. A.J. Brown didn't say these words, but basically insinuating it's WIP's fault that there's negativity in the air.
Yeah, we used to hear that a lot.
Yeah, well.
You guys are doing a good job then.
Now, that's not my aim.
Well done.
Let me tell you, if they played better down the stretch, I wouldn't be with such critical comments. I mean.
Correct, yeah.
So,
correct.
It's funny. You would be candid about the other teams, obviously, as a talk show host. Do you feel now, is there almost like professional courtesy to the other three clubs to not speak publicly
Definitely.
in a negative way about them?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, there's no doubt about that. And I did enough of it when I was
Even
here.
if the Sixers stink right now?
Yeah.
Even if...
Yeah, and you know what? I can honestly tell you, I don't know that they stink.
You're not paying attention.
I don't see, like, you guys are talking about leadoff hitter for the Phillies, and I have no idea.
And you're a baseball guy.
Yeah, I love baseball,
That's
and
great.
I have no time to watch anything else but what we're doing. So you end up, you're in a bubble. You really are. And I was just kind of saying that to myself as you guys are talking. I'd love to add some insight to some of the things you're discussing, but I have no idea.
That's great, man. That's great. Let's go to Rich.
And the hockey team looks that way. The hockey team looks like
Yes,
you put everything
everything's
into
there.
them, so we're great with that.
That's cool.
Perfect.
Well, again, congrats on the success. And I meant
Incredible.
team. I mean, you personally, but the team's better than like anybody thought.
We're entertaining. We're providing something, an escape from your everyday life. That is the goal. So we're going to continue to try to do that. But it's a challenge.
Well,
it's
here's
hard.
Here's one more on the whole overall. God, I hate the word brand, but I'm going to use the word because I think it applies. Okay. God, I hate that word. It has frustrated me, and I don't think I'm alone amongst Flyers fans, that it has felt like there has not been a player that has cut through and been someone that the general public can relate to his personality. There were Hartnell had some of that for
he
sure.
did. Yeah, that's a good one.
I don't want to discredit him.
Yeah, that's true.
But someone at a higher level, or to me, it's Jeremy Roenick, which was 20 years ago.
JR was great.
And
JR was
like,
great.
And I'll say this, and I say that as a Flyers fan, as a Philadelphian. I'll also say that as a WIP talk show host. Jonesy, I long for the day where when we're formulating, hey, who should we get on Tuesday or Wednesday, we say, let's get this Flyers player on. Let me give you 2 reasons. 1, he's a really good player. 2, he's really interesting. I'll give you a 3rd reason. And 3, the public knows him and likes him and wants to hear from him. Like, that's what Charles Barkley was with the Sixers.
Yeah, it was.
I want someone with personality.
It's true.
So who could be that guy?
Yeah, it's hockey is
because I think you need it a lot, Jonesy.
You need it in hockey.
You got to sell your team and your sport.
You do. It's important. It is. And hockey is a sport that's full of humble players that don't like to say a lot.
Yeah.
I think that was a battle we always had when I was doing the national TV games too. Was trying to find those JR-like personalities.
Yeah.
It's a big challenge, but that is in the back of our mind. There's no question, and in some cases in the front of our minds.
Good.
It's a great point by you. And with hockey,
look at Jason Kelce.
Yeah, hockey.
Look at Jason Kelce. Like, that guy is Mr. Philadelphia, not Mr. Philadelphia Eagle. He's Mr. Philadelphia.
No, there's a lot of bigger than life personalities that have come out of different sports, but hockey needs it more than any other sport. Because we're battling for our place in the sports world.
Yeah.
There's no question that you're right about that. And that's something that we want to continue to strive for, too. We've got a group of players that together are making noise and being noticeable. But to have, that one guy that can really pull everybody in is an important piece of the puzzle. So we'll try to get there.
Too many nice Canadians, Jonesy.
There's
That's
a lot
your
of
problem.
that. There is a lot of that. There is a lot.
All right, let's go to Rich. He's calling from King of Prussia. What's going on, Rich?
Hey, guys. How are you this morning?
Doing great, Rich.
Very entertaining. Now, is Keith in the studio, or was he just a call in there?
He is here in person, in the flesh.
I didn't even know Jonesy's name is Keith. Your name's Keith?
Well, whenever someone calls me Keith, I think I'm in trouble. So
I'm sorry, Jonesy.
Yes, that's me.
So glad to hear your voice. Used to absolutely enjoy the morning show when you were on. You gave it a whole different fun. You never knew what you were going to say, but you knew it was going to have something to do with, taking someone's comment and twisting it a little bit and making it a little bit uncomfortable. But
I know it feels weird to be in here and watching what I say rather than just saying whatever I felt. So that there is a difference in my life.
You're like a suit and tie guy now. You have to
no tie, but I do wear a suit.
And I heard you're doing a lot of more cursing, but that I think that just comes with the position. You're going to have to do that. So yeah, congratulations. I'm pretty much first a baseball guy. Grew up with the Broad Street Bullies, and such an exciting time when I was a kid. Just watching that whole thing, it was so exciting. And hockey sort of lost that flair and all. Not to say the hardcore hockey fans feel that way, but to the general public, they're easily distracted by other things that are marketed differently, or you get superstars. I'm so excited that we're going to see hockey come back in and be, on par with all the other four in the media and the fans and excitement, because I think with the new leadership, it's only going to get better. So good for you. Congratulations, and good for the city. And listen, while I'm talking about teams, we shouldn't consider soccer a non-sport in this town. It's global. It's worldwide.
Well, it's a massive sport globally. It's smaller here, but listen, the Union are doing their thing. They've carved out their niche. Obviously for them, it's about trying to expand it, which was something that was the Flyers' goal. Going back 50 years ago when they started. That's the Flyers hit the ground pretty fast, winning a title. Year 7, I believe, Jonesy.
Yeah.
So that kind of helps when you win a championship and you got 2 million people at a parade in year 7. Rich, give me a big time answer here. Who or what took a leap? You can win Santana tickets and Counting Crow tickets.
Well, before I do that real quick, I wanted to just talk about one word that I think, or a couple words that make for championship teams.
Give me one of them, because I got someone I got to get to here, my man. Give me an answer. One word.
It's consistency and balance.
Those things do matter. There's no doubt. Greatness, though, ultimately, you got to get great players. You got to get great players. All right, so, Jonesy, your boss is calling in here. Just so you know.
Is he?
Yeah,
good.
I'm looking up in my line.
That's great.
I see the name Dan Hilferty. He is. I said to Seltzer, Seltzer, I know he's got a big old role at the Flyers, but I need the official title. Like, because we know Jonesy's the president. Dan Hilferty.
My boss.
Dan Hilferty's title, Jonesy's boss. He also happens to hold the title of Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of Comcast Spectacor and Governor of the Philadelphia Flyers. Matter of fact, actually, as we bring on Dan Hilferty, let's play this song. All right, we welcome the Flyers guy, Mr. Dan Hilferty. How are you, Dan?
Hey guys, good to be with you. I couldn't resist calling in because number one, we do refer to Jonesy as Jonesy, but I got to call him Keith first. Not knowing those presidents of the United States, that's troubling to me.
Luckily, that wasn't in the interview process.
Yeah, and Jonesy, I can go Brian Mulrooney, Kim Campbell, Paul Martin, Stephen Harper, Justin Trudeau. You know who they are, right?
Pierre Trudeau. I remember him. Justin's father.
You're Prime Minister. You're Canadian Prime Minister.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. But guys, I just really appreciate the opportunity to call in, and frankly, we don't consider who's boss and who. We each have roles, and my role is on the business side to support Jonesy as president. He's taking the ground running and doing just an amazing job. Danny Briere and his job as general manager, and Torts in his role as coach. And it's we all talk about pulling the rope in the same direction, and Jonesy's leading the charge, and we all follow.
Well, Dan, congrats on what you guys obviously have had a heck of a season, and surprising for most of us. Dan, what has it been like for you? We have not had you on the show, and full disclosure for everyone listening right now, Dan and I have never met privately off the air, nor ever spoken off the air. Dan, I've heard from a number of people I know who say you're a wonderful person. I don't know you, but if you could tell essentially the audience your role in trying to get the Flyers charged up and this transition for you from where you were in business to where you are now with the Flyers, overseeing so much of the operation.
Sure, I'm happy to do that. I was brought in as you said, Chair and CEO of Comcast Spectacor, and my role was to not only build out and put leadership in place in the Flyers, which we just talked about, but also to make Comcast Spectacor a sports and entertainment behemoth, and one that every Philadelphia fan, regardless of the last caller talked about baseball being his thing, regardless of the sport that you really love, that when you think of the Philadelphia Flyers, you think of excellence, you think of playing hard every single day, and relating to the fans in a way that we bring everybody along as a family. And so that's what we set out to do, and I lead it from the business side. Jonesy and Danny lead it from the hockey side. We've broken down the walls between business and hockey, and we're doing a heck of a job at it, I think.
Well, Dan, it's got to be for you as a Philadelphian. I know you're from here, and you're a fan of all the towns. I would imagine it's gratifying to be leading one of the franchises right now.
Oh, it really is. And on the hockey side, look, I've been a fan for a long time, and Jonesy, you can confirm this. Fans, we know what we see, but many times we don't know what we don't know. And the beauty of this role for me, and the favorite times that I have, are sitting in the GM's box with Jonesy and Danny and learning the game, the intricacies of the game, and it's been a blast. They'll say to me, "What did you see?" And I'll say, "Well, I saw this, this, and this," and I only missed 2 or 3 steps in the process. But
you're not missing as much now, though. That's for sure. Like it's been a lot of fun too, and Hilf said a lot of the road games as well. He'll come and join us there, which he did in Pittsburgh the other day for that crazy 7-6 game. It's been really awesome to have his presence around us and his leadership. So we're in a really good place as far as moving forward, no doubt.
Well, Dan, I'll say this, and I think I can say it. Like, I try not to speak on behalf of others. Jones, you know the deal. It gets you in trouble. You speak, will. Except when FDR said we have nothing to fear but fear itself, and he was speaking for we, the whole nation. Like,
I remember
that was a big we. All right, speaking for all Americans, we got nothing. All right, so here's my comment, Dan. We want playoff hockey, and we want to see you guys succeed. And it's been a long time. I mean, it's been, so Jonesy, correct me if I'm wrong, I think 2020, the 1 year
the bubble
where
year,
there was a round that was won in the playoffs, the first round. And prior to that, it's 2012. That's a long time.
Yeah, it's been a long stretch.
Since winning a round in the playoffs and since getting to a conference final. That'd be 2010, obviously, when it was the Stanley Cup final. So, Dan, I'll say this, my man, with the Eagles having struggled, Philly's going to start soon. Sixers obviously are lagging right now. We'll see when Embiid gets back what they can do. I mean, you got a shot to get a lot of eyeballs April, May, and June, depending on how far you can go in April, May, and June.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I'd say this. One of our goals was to bring fans along, to be as open as we can. There's an article this morning where Danny talks very honestly about balancing what we want to accomplish this year and building for a strong future. From my perspective, we wanted to create that, as I said earlier, family environment where fans feel excited to come to the Wells Fargo Center, excited to follow the Flyers when they're on the road, and to feel part of something really, really special. So that's what it's all about.
Well, Dan, good luck down the stretch this season and obviously beyond, and we appreciate you calling to the show today. Thanks so much.
All right, guys. Take care. Jonesy, I'll see you.
Yep, see you, Hilf.
All right, there he is, Dan Hilferty, in charge of the Flyers. This segment right now brought to us by MHS Lift. If you're looking for forklifts, a warehouse efficiency assessment, any type of material handling equipment, or if your equipment needs repairs, go to MHSlift.com. Seltzer, I didn't think it was likely to happen, but I thought it would have been the wildest news in the history of our show if Jonesy was fired live on the air by his boss.
Give it a few years.
That would have been the ultimate breaking news.
I'll make that happen for you guys. When it's ready to happen, I'll make it happen.
All right,
Appreciate it, pal.
Time's yours and more up ahead, including more with Jonesy. Finishing the show out with us coming up next on 94 WIP.